I've been searching the internet for a list that has Jalen Hurts in the top 10 in the NFL Top 100. And guess what? We found a list, and none of them have him as a top 10. Let's come on and talk about it. This is Victory Mondays. Let's go.
All day, baby. You know that.
Let's hunt.
If we don't come together right now on this hollow ground.
Where are you going? I'm going to pick a fight.
Get some nothing.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is that why you're here?
Let the games begin.
This is where we hold them. This is where we fight. This is where they die!
Welcome everybody back for another episode of Victory Monday. It's growing on me. At first, I kind of want to tweak it all the time, but it's starting to grow on me. Especially the beginning. I like Goddard. I like the Goddard opening a lot.
It's tough.
What'd you say?
It's tough. It's got a very modern feel, and the worst
right.
I almost feel like you're too old to create a video that relevant, but my guy's tapped in, so I can't complain.
Yeah. I'm gonna tweak it a little bit, but it's starting to grow on me, man.
I feel like you got some of your son's references for that one, but I'll let you pass on that. It's a very solid video. It's very solid.
Welcome everybody back for another episode of Victory Mondays, where we're talking everything and anything all Eagles. Like my guy said earlier, behind the scenes, sometimes we're looking for a needle in a haystack, and that's what we got for you today. I am Moss Money. I am the player. That is Ernie B. That is the GM. What's up, bro?
Hey man, it's my favorite time of year, so let's not downplay it that much. I'm extremely happy. Fine combing the 90-man roster over and over again, just waiting for a roster opening, waiting for a little something. I mean, we got a little action today. So for guys like me, today was like blood in the water. I mean, getting the Jalen Ramsey trade, heading to the Steelers, Minkah Fitzpatrick back to Miami. Some TJ Watt, rumors stirring back again. So,
I saw that.
My Philly aggregates gets it going. They already said, national media has said, TJ Watt, nothing's finished. Talks have been stalled. So, it's just a matter of time for some edits come out.
You can't let it, like when they're going all in, and we'll switch gears, and we'll talk about another PA team right now. But when you're going all in, the way it seems the Steelers are, and they've shifted on their typical philosophy, I just don't see how you can let that type of player out the door. I just don't see it.
I think that to keep it short and clean, I think that their philosophy that was known for your generation is no longer existent, and that they're simply grasping for air of relevance. And that screams Aaron Rodgers. That screams what they've done. Giving DK the kind of money they gave him, not that he doesn't deserve that kind of money, but I mean, they had a lot of homegrown talent that maybe could have come a little cheaper wearing the same number. So thought about George Pickens there traded to, the guy we got to see twice a year, Dallas Cowboys. I think Pittsburgh, I used this word when I first started with the show, and I think I've tapered off of it a bit, but I think it fits perfectly. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the definition of NFL purgatory. They don't have any direction. They just seek nothing but current, relevance. They want to be good enough to be good enough. And that's just that's not enough, unfortunately. And I would say a long time, Eagles fans felt the same way, that Laurie was a bit of a joke, and that things that he did until the first championship, were a little rocky getting to that point. I mean, Chip Kelly era was a joke of its own. So the fact that we've gotten to the point where today me and you can sit here and we're not, for lack of a better word, we're not fucking around right now. The Eagles are the gold standard, and the black and yellow, or the black and gold is, they're mediocrity at this point. And it's a weird coin to be a part of, because growing up, I never saw Philadelphia, the Eagles, as the NFL gold standard. The Steelers were the gold standard from front office to roster development to drafting. I mean, they were who they were. So now we're at a point now where there's rumors of TJ Watt wanting to leave the, gold standard Steelers to come play for the Eagles, because the Eagles are the new standard. And that, I digress. That was just a weird point to be a football fan.
Yeah, and you said something interesting, and I think that can just segue us right into the Jalen Hurts conversation about, wanting Laurie and, Howie's head. And I found this funny thing from Barstools that kind of took me back, because you got to start from the beginning and kind of know where you are, especially with the whole Hurts up and down circus. But I think this clip captured the majority of Eagles fans when we drafted Jalen Hurts.
What the fuck? A quarterback? What the fuck? We have a fucking quarterback! We don't need a fucking quarterback in the second fucking round! What the fuck is wrong with this guy? He's a fucking imbecile! Fuck! What is this guy thinking? He's got fucking problems in the fucking head! What the fuck? Am I missing something here?
I might.
You take a quarterback in the fifth or
The
sixth round,
F-bombs might get us canceled. Might be a policy strike on this one. All right, we'll leave it right there. We'll leave that face right there. Looks like he's straight from Delco, by the way. Yeah, I mean, I remember us trading for Jalen, and it wasn't even about like a Wentz thing. I wasn't even thinking about Wentz getting hurt in the backup. I just remember just like, what? Like we took a quarterback second round, and then I tried to make sense of it. I really did. I tried to make sense of it. I was like, oh, we're about to do the whole dual quarterback thing. Right? We're about to have a whole new. I was like, and I was really trying to convince people, like, just think about it. You got a whole offense for Wentz. You got a whole offense for Hurts. It's going to work. You can kind of switch and go back and forth, almost college-esque. You know what I mean? Trying to think that they were ahead of their time. But obviously I was completely wrong in that take of what the hell Howie was thinking. Now, Howie, at this point, right, you got a NFL Super Bowl winning quarterback, an NFL Super Bowl MVP, and you got him in a second round when really nobody thought that this was going to be possible where you're at right now. Let me ask you, bro, before we get into the top 10 and all that with Hurts, when they took Hurts, what was your initial reaction? What was your thought? Just honest thought, if you can go back a couple years here, about.
I was still punching a pillow for passing on Justin Jefferson, so that was.
Oh yeah, so that part was in there.
That's left out. That's left out. That draft class might be one of the worst ones to date in like Philadelphia aura, but no, yeah, I was trying to figure out, why we took Jalen Reagor, and I was sitting there watching Jalen Reagor highlights, being like, "Nah, dude, this kid's for real. Like, he's wearing, he's gonna come in here. He's wearing number 1. I didn't know he was gonna wear 18, but I was telling him, maybe he's Macklin. Maybe I got something. Maybe I got a little something."
He was explosive. I remember that he was explosive in those clips.
Oh yeah, Reagor was Reagor. Funny enough, Nate, Jalen Reagor is the one that got me to look at football in a different light. Jalen Reagor is the reason why some of my close friends who have way cooler jobs than I do now pointed out to me that I was an imbecile as a fan, and it really hit it home. But Reagor for me was one of the ones where I really tried to, like you said, I dug my toes in the dirt. I said, "No,
you tried to make sense of it.
Punt return, kick return, wide receiver. What are you gonna do? Carson Wentz's new weapon. He's got Deshaun Jackson of old. He'll be back. Teach him everything." It was rough, man. It was rough.
It was rough.
Hurts, the pick. I was a big fan of the player in college.
Yeah.
And that is this is going back some years. So
Correct. Yeah.
I don't have any connections. I don't know anybody at the time. Jalen was a guy that I really, me and my buddies, one of my best friends, Chris, who I'm going to shout out right now. He's a diehard Patriots fan. And Chris, one day you're going to watch this, and I'm shouting you out right now. But he was the one that kind of told me to look at Hurts in college, and really was like, "Look, dude, I'm telling you, this kid's got a special edge on his shoulder. He's got a little chip." And I'm right there with you, man. When the pick happened, it didn't make sense, and I can wholeheartedly tell you from speaking to people looking back on the time that there was no drafting Jalen Hurts with the plan of secession. There was no, Wentz was in the moment. That this was all about just, we won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. We need to have a backup that's competent. Blah 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 blah. If we draft him high enough, we get 4 years of roster control at a minimum contract. It's just it was all money driven, and then it works out because you draft who is inevitable. And that's Jalen Hurts, man. The dude, not to dive too deep into it, but real quick, even coming out of college, the kid's story was inevitable. And kind of like you said, all of Philly wrote the kid off. Number 2, coming in. Like you said, packages. We were sold on packages. We were sold on this new way to evaluate football. Why worry about, one quarterback? You got one guy. Well, he gets injured. He's really good when he plays, but when he's injured, it is what it is. You won a Super Bowl with a backup. How about a really cool backup to pull for that was also overdrafted?
Yeah.
There was no – don't let anybody tell you that Jalen Hurts had a grade above where the Eagles took him, because not a single team in the NFL had a higher grade than the Philadelphia Eagles. The only team – and that's fact, man. You can bounce that off whoever the fuck you want. The only team is the Pittsburgh Steelers, who we were talking about earlier, that actually had legitimate interest in the player. And
they thought he was like Russell.
And he has said this on a pod, the Kelsey, I believe it was with the Kelseys, that he was under the whole impression that he was going to Pittsburgh. It was Pittsburgh's ahead of everybody. They're gonna be the ones that want me. So
he would have fit in Pittsburgh too.
100%. His mentality would have fit. But I think that ultimately he fits Philadelphia more, because in hindsight, Philadelphia was prepared to move forward with football more than Pittsburgh was. But I digress there. That was, a little too much.
Do you think that Hurts was the ultimate culture change in Philly?
I think that Sirianni and Jalen had a unique way of going about their end goal, but their end goal was the same. And when they first got to it together, they questioned which one was correct. But it turns out both of them were correct. And when they agreed to put their differences to the side, they were able to run to a championship, literally. They ran.
Yeah, they had different methodologies of how to get to the end goal.
You could say that, but football is only played in so many ways. I think it's more of a the way you handle business kind of thing. Jalen is very old school, and he's very Bill Belichick, Nick Saban like. And I think Nick has more of a modern, transcendent mindset in which he's able to adapt to younger players, and he's able to personalize issues that me and you both know he never went through or could have gone through, but he sympathizes with those problems in a way that makes you feel comfortable, almost like a therapist. I think he's just very good at assimilating, and he's very good at making someone feel comfortable.
I agree with that. All right, let's look at the list of what we have from Anonymous. Now, granted, I got this from Twitter. Shout out to Eagles Nation. They had released this on Twitter. But this is supposedly an actual list of 4 anonymous players from the NFL Top 100. Let's see where they have their top. I think it's a top 20 for each one. Let's see where Hurts lands. Obviously, we don't know who the player is who put it in there, but let's see how legit this list is, and what we think. We can move a couple names around and see where Hurts lands. All right, so list 1. penmanship not too bad. We got Lamar, Pat, Allen, TJ, Saquon, Chase, Justin, Goff, Parsons, and Burrow is all top 10. Jalen Hurts is not. Oh, Jalen. I don't. Yeah, Jalen Hurts is number 17, right behind Tua. And we got Miles, Dexter Lawrence,
Jesse,
and then
Dexter,
Jesse
Miles,
Bates.
Jalen,
All the
Tua,
way at the bottom.
Tyreek.
Penny Sewell, Bijan Robinson. Who's Chris Lindstrom? Who's that?
Chris Lindstrom's an offensive line for the Falcons. So this is a Falcons player. That's about obvious. Bijan's 13. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Falcons
Yeah, good call.
right there. If you really want to get to exposing them. So find out who writes their P's like that, Falcons fans. You can get them. Whoever hangs it over. Yeah, you just got, bud.
All right. So looking at this list here, top 10 is probably it's hard to have Patty. We're basing this off last year as when not where they are like all time, but what they performed last year. I mean, Saquon's obviously gonna be in top 5, I think, in everybody's list. Allen, your reigning league MVP, will be there as well. Jamar Chase led, I think, in all receiving categories last year, if I'm not mistaken. Trying to think who's a little bit low here. Obviously,
I'm gonna guess it's a Falcons offensive lineman. If I had to guess who was making the list.
Yeah, you put a defensive lineman, you put TJ in there. Probably best.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like out of nowhere. Like he has TJ number 4, so and then he has Chris Lindstrom number 14. So is it Chris Lindstrom? I don't think so because he writes his name shitty. But I would have to guess it's probably a Falcons offensive lineman.
Yeah. All right. So this one has. So we'll pick. You know what we'll do? We're gonna take the one that we find might be closest. This is kind of out there. It's okay. Let's go to list number 2. All right. Allen, Chase, Burrow, Barkley, Lamar, Justin, TJ, Miles.
Justin.
I don't know who that is. That number 9 is. Can't tell. Golf.
You have Justin Tor.
I said it seems like Johnson at the end. Oh, there it is. Golf. Mahomes 11. AJ. Mark something. I don't know who that is.
Xavier what at 15? Because
yeah, Xavier.
That's McKinney. Xavier McKinney, Fred Warner. AJ Brown's 12. Pat Mahomes.
One's at the bottom. What'd you get, a Sharpie to write?
That's Jalen Johnson at number 9. That's a Bears.
Oh, the corner, right?
Yeah, corner for the Bears. And then whoever spelled number 6, Justin with an E. So, yeah.
This might be another line.
I don't know who you are, but I'm going to guess you're Jalen Johnson from the Bears that wrote this list. Because you wrote your name decent, and then everybody else is kind of shit. Wrote in all caps for everything.
Well, look at you. Yeah, look at you breaking
it down.
You
have the defensive player of the year at 20. Yeah, I have more concern with that than Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, Hurts is not even on the list.
Wouldn't be able to know. Can't read the writing, so.
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't see any last names beginning with the H.
Who the fuck is 13? Oh, Max Crosby.
Oh, Max. Oh, Crosby. Okay.
Crosby, Warner, McKinney, Jacobs, Gibbs. Daniels, St. Brown, Surtain.
There you go. Look at you.
Bless my mother's a kindergarten teacher because, my goodness.
All right. Top five isn't, or top 8, 9. It's not too bad. We can argue. All right, let's go to the next list. Let's see. All right, Barkley, Chase, Mahomes, Burrow, Buda Baker, Justin Jefferson, Warner, Trey, Garrett, Surtain, Parsons, Xavier, Jesse Bates,
Henry, Allen, McBride, Gibbs, Jackson, Henry, and Byron Murphy. That's Cardinals player. So,
yeah.
When you put players from your own team in the top 20 that don't make sense in any way, shape, or form, no offense, Byron Murphy, But what do you expect me to think?
Yeah, right.
You put Buda Baker as the 5th best player in the NFL.
That's so
And
crazy.
wonder why we argue about these lists. I mean, this is
This is silly. Buda
Josh
Baker
Allen
is
15.
5.
Josh Allen 15. Okay, that's fine.
That's wild. All right, this one's trash. We'll remove that one.
It's sad when you look at him.
Yeah. So we got Barkley, Jackson, Henry, Allen, Vita Vey, Henderson, Gibbs.
This is an offensive lineman that played.
Yeah, look, it's a Tampa
Look at all
Bay.
the O linemen they put.
Yeah,
They put O linemen.
They
and
put
receivers
Baker.
all going over their head.
There's 4 Tampa Bay players on this list.
Yeah, it's Nate. I'm sorry, I hate to do this to you, but this is the stuff that I'm talking about. Like it's you see it, man. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like your list is it's exposed so quick. Like
this is so bad.
Tristan Wirfs, that motherfucker got Baker 9th over. You went $3. Wirfs, Mayfield, Evans, Buck. And
he went 3 straight bucks.
And
right
really, it was Vita Vea, Hendrickson, Gibbs, Wirfs, Mayfield, Evans. Like, dude, come on, man.
That's funny. All right, let me see. Was it the first one who was at least somewhat legible? And I
All
guess
of them were smoking straight dick. I don't know what to tell you.
But I mean, as we went through them, right, there was only one of the 4 of anonymous that
I think if anybody, you got to have Josh Allen number 1, just based on the fact that
MVP.
I got to respect that. And I think if anybody, you got to put 2 is Lamar. I mean, if you're going to put, the guy that
Barkley is number 2.
Yeah, I think that's the conversation right there. You're looking at Allen, you're looking at Lamar, you're looking at Barkley. Patty's going to be in there because he's Patty. So you got 3 quarterbacks, Barkley, and who else? I think number 5 is up for debate, if anything.
I think you got to put a defensive player in there in the top 5. Maybe Surtain, Watt.
Micah would be the guy that Surtain. If you want to go defensive player of the year, I mean, just go ahead and go with the DPOI.
And then rounding out the rest kind of doesn't look bad, like Chase, Jefferson, Parsons.
Yeah, I mean, Chase has to be there. Jefferson has to be there. Parsons has to be there. Watt has to be there. Garrett has to be there.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't mind this one with Dexter Lawrence. I actually thought this was kind of the most reasonable. Like, I mean, Tua's kind of out of pocket, which makes me think that this is probably a Falcons player or Dolphins player.
Pat. Based off last year, Patty's not. He's probably on the bottom end of 10.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not by year; it's a top 100, to date kind of thing. It's like I said, Patty's. It's just a players list, so the players tend to be more recency bias.
I like the players list over, but like
I think the players list. I think the players list is dope to see like who they think. I mean, I think Jalen got a lot of credit in 2022 when the 2023 list came out, and he was in the top 5 almost unanimously, and that was pretty cool to see. Just to see that basically what this means is this is the who you fear list. So a lot of guys
exactly. Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is.
But a lot of guys don't want to be as honest on it. So the issue with this list is it takes honesty from all the players, and it takes a little bit of humbleness from the guys who are put on a pedestal for not being humble. So this list does have a lot of scrutiny around circles, but it is cool to analyze, But it's also easy to break down because you see, like, there are so many guys that will show their tracks via the list. So
yeah, for sure. I think so Saquon's obviously one.
Saquon, I think if you were going to pick a player to represent the Eagles from last year, it would have to be Saquon. And it's not even anybody ever, nobody's close to it. Like, you just pluck him.
Well, what I was going to say or throw out there, we're looking at the top 20. Jalen Hurts is on one of these lists, and he's 17 behind Tua, which we all know is kind of bullshit. Tyreek was in and out last year, so. But what Eagles are missing from the top 20, you think? I would say AJ's got to be in the top 20.
I would agree, but I think that the Eagles make their mark off not having a top 10 player at every position and having a top 20 player at that position. And a team full of top 20s will beat a team full of top 10s because a team full of top 10s can't afford itself to show up to work.
Mm-hmm.
So,
where do you think Carter falls?
Jalen Carter?
Yes, sir.
I think he's in this list unanimously next cycle.
Oh, next cycle.
So next cycle.
What do you think he falls in this list?
Well, again, this is recency bias. So, I mean, if you want to talk about a grade on the player, I mean, I would have to say Jalen Carter is a top 20 player in the NFL. I would say that with high degree. I mean, I think he's right up there with Dexter Lawrence, just due for an extra breakout season. A lot of people think he's already broken out, but he hasn't, and he just keeps
he hasn't
better every year. So,
yeah,
I've said it before. I think Jalen Carter's got 40 million plus coming his way.
When he his breakout year will be when he is double
numbers. It's no numbers with DTs, man. The kid was doubled almost every single year. Like, he's a flat out game changer. If you're in the NFL, you know it. If you're in NFL circles, you know it. If you're in NFL circles around NFL circles who are around NFL circles who are around NFL circles, you know Jalen Carter's a fucking dog. He's a game wrecker. He is the best player on the field when he gets on it, and it's without a question. Players that he's in the echelon with, Micah Parsons and TJ Watt, and they're waiting to get paid. So as Eagles fans, the longer you wait for them to get paid, the higher Jalen's number goes. And I told Nate this a few months ago. I said, I wouldn't be shocked if that number starts with a 5. Oh man, these guys are only making this much right now. I don't think the AAV starts with a 5, but I think the guarantee is well over. I think it's going to be somewhere close to potentially $100 million guaranteed.
I agree with that because they gave Fletch $100 million when he got his first deal.
But it wasn't fully guaranteed. So it's going to.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Yeah,
that's the thing. I could see $100 million in guaranteed money.
He'll be a top 3 paid defensive player in the league for sure, without a doubt.
Yeah, that's and
top 3, top 5. When you want to say
it should go, because Garrett just got paid, should be somewhere of Micah, TJ, and then Jalen Carter. As far as I view the market and the way that I gauge things, I don't think anybody's going to sniff, Carter money. I mean, they just won't. He's kind of in a group of his own. And he can ask for whatever the hell he wants. They're the lowest cost defense in the NFL this year. The Eagles are about like $3.5 million. So
that's crazy.
Eventually, you don't want to look at the offense numbers, but eventually the tides turn.
Yeah. So we'll get into a little bit of updates with some contract talk. But getting back before we wrap up, Jalen. Where do you think Jalen falls this year, NFL top 100, a range? You don't have to give me an exact.
Don't care. Don't give a fuck. Super Bowl MVP, NFL champion, love Hurts. Hate it for you. The same thing Howie would tell you. The same thing Jeffrey would tell you. It don't fucking matter. I don't care what they think about him. Right here.
I get you ring me. I'm just
he ain't Lamar. He's still not Josh Allen. He's still not Patrick Mahomes. He's still not Jaden Daniels. Not gonna be, but champion. So no more.
I'm not disrespecting the man. I'm just asking your professional GM opinion.
He's not there. He's not there.
Is he out of top 20?
I don't know. I don't speak like that. I'm not going to put that on credit.
Throw this goddamn pencil in the goddamn screen at you.
I mean, I can't. I'm not going to, man. I mean, you're giving me a list with Chris Lindstrom in the top 20 NFL players.
I'll do it for the both of us because.
Chris Lindstrom. This has Tua Tagovailoa.
I'll put
Tua doesn't even know what time he's showing up to work come training camp because they don't have that much of strict stuff going on.
He deserves to be in the top 10. Jalen Hurts has earned, and he's deserved to be in the top 10, but he'll fall between 15 and 20.
I mean,
in this cycle, if he
wins a Super Bowl and falls between 15 and 20, he doesn't win a Super Bowl, just shows up to a Super Bowl in his top 5 after it. It's recency bias. It's all recency bias.
It is. I mean, it is. It's unfortunate.
Tom wasn't top 5 till like the Bucks. So there's a little thing of I don't like playing this motherfucker. Fuck that motherfucker. I'm about to drop him down the list a little bit.
Tom's a unicorn. Man.
Look at where Mahomes is. Some motherfuckers like fuck that motherfucker. 15. He ain't that good. Fuck that bitch.
Tom,
you see what Jeff T said about Braun.
Mahomes is in that same category as unicorn, man. I can't compare these guys to, Hurts.
Well, Lamar Jackson gets voted as the best player in the NFL every fucking year. What has Lamar Jackson done? He ain't done this. He ain't done this. And I love Lamar. He ain't done this.
I said that he deserves to be in the top 10. He deserves the top 10. He probably deserves top 5 consideration. I'm just saying in this cycle, I believe he falls between 15 and 20. And this is why we're doing the show now, because it's going to be a big old hoorah about how Jalen Hurts is getting disrespected. And we already know it's coming. People in this city know what's coming. All we care is about this. And we're going to say it until we're blue in the face. And when he goes back again and he wins another one, we not even, like, this list is just going to be just bullshit. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to get out there so we put a little bit of stamp on it, emphasis of where we think he'll fall. And again, anywhere from 15 to 22 is more likely where he'll fall. I'll be shocked if they have him labeled as top 10.
I think he's the best player in the league, bro. He's
There
the
you
greatest
go.
player to ever step
There
on
you
the
go.
planet.
Talk that
Jalen
shit.
Hurts has wings on him when he steps on the field.
Talk to him. That's
Jalen
what
Hurts
I
has
want to hear.
wings on him. You're lucky to be blessed to play with him or against him.
There you go. There you go. So we talked about a little bit about the updates to the salaries and things like that, and for contracts. You did mention something. You had some updated news on a little bit of snippet about some Eagles possibly getting some contracts, and just let us know what you got, what you know, and what we expect in the coming future of possibly who's going to be, get a payday.
Exciting Mike's co-host, Reed Blankenship, should be receiving a contract extension in the coming months. The guaranteed money's up. The signs all point towards it. He's been asked about it a couple times. Has been giving pretty cute answers. I think the struggle with Reed is trying to find a number.
Yeah, I was about to say, where do you think his number sits?
Man, I've heard some high numbers and I've heard some lower numbers, so I don't know. I've heard some people.
Is he a locker room leader, you think? Is he a locker room leader at this point?
From what I understand, Blankenship was the vocal leader outside of Nakobe Dean for the championship run. So last year, the most important player vocally outside of Nakobe Dean was Blankenship. So
yeah, I was about to say, I feel like, he's going to take on that role a little bit.
Nate, you could probably explain better. I mean, as far as a vocal leader goes, we're not talking about you're not the best player on the team, but you're putting guys where they need to be. You know, where everybody needs to be at that time. And he is that guy through and through. So
for sure. Yeah, when I talked about Reed, I've always liked Reed because he's always typically in the right spot at the right time. And I felt like he's a sure enough tackler now. The more he's got a
couple over pursuits that have resulted in
here and there. But I think for the most part, when he's around the ball, he's going to bring the guy to the ground for the most part. And I think he's a little bit bigger than I think people think he is.
He is.
I think he's a legit like 6'3", right? 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, he's got size to him.
Yeah.
That size results in a lack of top speed, which
he's not a super athlete. He's not one of those crazy
TJ Edwards of safety. And I know TJ Edwards is a weird example, but TJ left the Eagles for the Bears, got paid, and
but he's a smart player.
Exactly. And so if your brain turn your feet before your feet can think, I believe is the way it's put, then you'll be just fine.
Yeah.
So like I said, if your brain can turn your feet faster than your feet can think, then you'll be okay. And that's where TJ Edwards and Reed Blankenship live, is just being in the right spot at the right time, because they have that much game knowledge, for them.
And for the most part, he's been pretty reliable on the field.
Kind of been exceptionally productive if you look at it. I think it's like 11 total interceptions or something like that over the years.
Yeah, I think he's
been exceptionally productive to be a player that we don't consider. A lot of people said, "Oh, you trade CJ and you're left with Blankenship. Like, this is all you have." And it's like, well, wait a minute. I mean, Blankenship's production, has been exceptional for an undrafted free agent. I mean, I would say the money problem, though, is, do you have a $7.5 to $8 million player, or do you have a $14.5 to $15 million player? And I want to say the numbers tell me more of a $15 million player. And it's an odd argument to get to because it's odd from Reed's standpoint. He's not a drafted player. He's an undrafted player. This will technically be his third contract, not his second contract, even though his second contract came as just like whoa, you made the team and you lasted a year. Oh, my goodness, we got to pay you. Same thing happened with TJ Edwards, although they let TJ Edwards walk, and TJ Edwards got sub-market value. The problem is TJ Edwards could have gotten more than that. So what does Blankenship want to do? As far as I understand, he's not going to play the season without a new contract. So I would assume they're going to gauge this thing out before, week 1. But like I said, it's anywhere from 8 to 15. And I think it's somewhere more in the middle. I could see a 12.5 AAV kind of thing. I just think the structure for Reed will be more similar to Zach Bond. And it will be more of a 2-year commitment as opposed to a 3-year commitment or a 4-year commitment like AJ and Cam Jurgens' contracts are set up.
I can see 3 years, right? I'm looking at his numbers now. He's 26. He doesn't have a lot of miles.
Numbers are better than you think they are. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, when did he come in 21 or 22? Because I see 3 seasons, but
21.
But it looks
21
like
was the 20. No, well, 20.
It says he's 4 years. He's a 4-year freshman.
Yeah, it should be 2023 or 2022 it should have been his first snaps on the field. The year he was a rookie UDFA and they went to the Super Bowl. And then last year he was a starter, and then this year he was a starter, and then last year he played on a new contract. So at the end of 2022, because he was an undrafted free agent, they had to revise his contract.
40 games over 3 years, last 15 games. And 8 picks over those 3 years, 7 in the last 2 years. So
we're really looking at 2023 and 24. That's the
those are the numbers you really want to.
The 2022 year was the year that he picked off Aaron Rodgers on week 2 or week 3, subbed in, and he picked him off on the read. So he was the only undrafted rookie to ever intercept Aaron Rodgers so far. I mean, he's still going to play.
Yeah, and and when you go off those 2 numbers, I mean, he's been very productive, and like you said,
Blankenship from an interception, from a turnover standpoint, has been highly exceptional compared to most safeties, and that's where it gets awkward because his physical testing is nowhere close to somebody like a C.J. Gardner-Johnson or an Andrew Makuba or even a Sidney Brown. But his production is exceptional, and he's putting the Eagles in a real hard spot, I can tell you that. But he's also not, from what I understand, he's not pushing for a ton of money. He's letting his agent handle the most. But his agent's going to get him what he can because I think this is probably going to be one of those one contract players as far as one extension player.
Yeah, let me see what the I think I have some back end PFF grade, even though, just give us some filler about where Reed Blankenship. While I'm looking at this up, any other information on any other contracts that you know of?
No,
so
since
far?
Bryce Huff's been traded, Cam Jurgens extended, Reed Blankenship is the only low-hanging fruit on the Eagles right now. I mean, there's no trade rumors. There's some stuff about T.J. Watt. My argument to Eagles fans is make it make sense for me. So if you can make it make sense for me, then we can have a talk about it. But I will say though, I have said on a previous podcast, I did not think there was a fart of a chance that TJ Watt was moved. I will increase that to 3 farts of a chance that TJ Watt is moved. So.
All right, so I'll share my screen real quick of some back end stuff with PFF to see where you have him ranked. Where is he at? Safety, 29th out of 28. Again, this is all PFF grade. Have him ranked, like I said, what was it, 28th out of 98 graded safeties, it looks like.
See, the thing about PFF
and then you can see the career years.
Yeah, PFF won't.
I'm not saying it's all be all, but it gives us like, a baseline.
I think he's the ultimate anti-PFF player though, because he doesn't meet any of these metrics. None of these metrics say give me $12.5 million. Not a single one on here says give me $12.5 million.
Yeah.
But you go look at the production, you put on the tape, old school ball, and you say, shit, who the fuck ain't paying this guy,
And like you said, undrafted. I mean, he got a status. It's not like he's like a slouch.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Yeah, it shows they respect him, but the grades don't say that. How do you give somebody a 69, a 69, a 71? It comes up to an A status.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a
That's
D
true.
in
And
my
then
book.
he's got
It's a friendly F.
technically he's gotten worse, right?
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It just doesn't reflect the player. What size do they have him at though? 6'2.5"?
6'1".
6'1".
Yeah,
And what,
I looked on
208?
ESPN. They have him at 6'1". He looks like he's taller than 6'1". He looks like he's
I'm about to say,
6'2".
I'm tall. He's taller than 6 foot.
Yeah,
Like
I've never
more than
met
6
him or
foot.
been next
He's
to him.
more than
So.
6'1", bro. He's not.
I feel like he's a little bit more 6'2".
At
Unless
least
some of the because
at least.
you know how they're funny with those. You know how they're funny with some of those.
Well, I mean, what's Kevin Durant now? 7'3", but we still call him 6'10".
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, they're not bad. 40 sacks. 40th and where is he? This is the moneymaker right here, though. Right, from a safety perspective. Almost breaking top 5 in interceptions with 4.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying, man. His numbers, I don't know. I marked that up as football player.
Yeah.
I think the dude's
just wanted to throw out. I had a couple.
What's interesting though, because I would agree. His number is the complex part. I can't get any gauge on that. I mean, I asked, what should the number be? And then the question is, well, what would you do? I mean, fuck, I don't know. I get to do what he wants.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, and I think you asked the question before about Reed and how that does in the locker room when you got a guy who's the vocal leader, but technically not the best player on the team, but he's the guy that he can rally the guys around him, and he's, he makes up his lack of athletic ability with his head.
Well, he's got all the tangibles.
And I think as long as
he's got production. So
yeah, but this is the production matches the intangibles.
Like it's like I don't, you're not the guy on paper, but after the game, I'm looking at it, I'm going, shit, you're the one putting in the work. His thing. I mean, he
did his thing for sure.
Advanced metrics aren't Reed Blankenship's friend, but old school football is, and I think he's one of those just undeniable football guys. The dude you meet him, he's cool as fuck, laid back, just loves the game. And it shows that he loves the game. And I mean, I would say anything, his production is purely based off experience. The dude plays 5 years in college, at a high level and undrafted because he's too old and doesn't run fast enough, sticks it with a team, and he made the best of it.
Yeah. No, I
Dallas Cowboys
couldn't agree more.
Fucking crying they didn't sign him as a UDFA because Reed Blankenship is about, as Dallas Cowboy as it gets.
You know who we didn't I didn't even think about actually no, let's bring up the list here. I'll bring up back PFF because it's not too bad to give you guys some metrics and all that other stuff if you want to look at it or not. We didn't do our let's ended up with the QB room and the breakdown of the room and what we have on roster here. Is that correct, or do we have one more? Do we have any other undrafted guys that I was missing from this list?
There should just be 4.
There's Tanner, just the 4. Okay.
Tanner, Kyle, DTR,
just a little.
Yeah.
Let me zoom in just a little bit so we can get a little better picture of what we got here. Yeah, that's a little bit better. All right, so this is a QB room. Obviously, we got Hurts as being QB1. We saw a little bit of Tanner McKee last year. Kyle McCord was their draft pick. Out of Syracuse. Beloved Eagles fan as well. And DTR out of UCLA, if you guys remember him way back when. Been bounced around a couple places, really kind of goes around where the running quarterback is necessary. He was in Cleveland. I forget who drafted him, though.
Cleveland. He ain't been around that long.
How long has he been around?
Since 2023, I think. He was a 5th-round pick for the Browns.
Has he only been in Cleveland? I thought he went somewhere. I thought he was somewhere else before Cleveland. No,
He's still
okay,
on his
my
rookie
bad.
contract then.
Yeah, my bad. My bad. Thought he'd been 3-4 years in. Okay. Um. So obviously Tanner McKee has the leg up, right? Knows the offense. Been with the team. Played. Um, obviously DTR has some intangibles that can be more relatable to Hurts in the way that we run this offense. And then, Kyle McCord is, just kind of the wild card as a rookie. How do you see this QB room kind of shaking out? Is it what we're going to expect, or will we have any surprises at QB2?
Oh, well, QB2, there's no questions at all. McKee's got that job locked in a way.
Yep.
The Kenny Pickett trade showed that. QB3, though, emergency QB, game day inactive, that's going to go to Kyle McCord, the draftee.
Hold on, real quick. Didn't that change? Didn't that rule change that the QB3 can now, he won't count as against a roster, but he can play, right?
Yeah, that doesn't count against the game day inactives.
Right.
But that was from the
previous
2022 from when the Eagles beat the shit out of the Niners.
Yep.
The Niners tried and got QB3. So it is a legitimate role now. It's what Tanner McKee served as last season. But this season, Tanner McKee will be the active QB2. Kyle McCord, the cool thing about the QB3 is they do get game checks. So for veterans that are in that position, they still get paid. So that's a big one as opposed to being inactive. DTR, the Eagles are one of the few teams that have carried 4 quarterbacks on the total roster, and that includes the 53 and the practice squad. So I refer to that as the 70-man roster. That is 69 legal players with 1 international exemption. I could see DTR possibly being retained as a young developmental player, and I think that he could go to the practice squad because nobody showed a lot of interest in him, and he hasn't had a lot of good performances, and I think that he'd be a good scout team guy. I think the big thing here is to note the fact that Howie Roseman called us years ago a QB factory. And I would say year in and year out, the QB factory continues to churn. And there's nothing anybody can say about it. They traded a 3rd for Kenny, got a 5th and DTR back. So if they turn DTR into a 6th, you then traded for Kenny via a 3rd, and ended up getting a 4th back, won a Super Bowl as him as the backup while starting a game, and then flipped him for more picks. So they're doing it right as opposed to anybody else. I can tell you that.
What do you think? I know you said Tanner's got this pretty much locked up. DTR obviously been in the league for 2 years. What do you see the QB3 kind of shaking out?
I think McCord wipes his ass with DTR in camp. And I think that they expect that to happen. From what I understand, they weren't expecting McCord to be there when they took it.
What was it, 5th round? Was that 5th round pick?
6th round pick.
6th round. I was a little off. Yeah, 6th round. Okay.
But, I mean, he did lead the FBS in total passing. There's not a lot of mobility there. But funny enough, while you mentioned earlier that DTR is more fit for the offense, I actually disagree. I think that Jalen Hurts is more of a square and a circle hole in this offense, and that when you plug somebody like Tanner McKee in, they can operate without issue. I think McCord would be the same boat.
So really not much shakeup in the roster. Let me go back here.
I mean, Pickett was moved
in the roster from the QB room per se. Do you think they keep all 4?
I think there's a chance that Dorian Thompson-Robinson on week 1 is on the practice squad for the Philadelphia Eagles, yes. But that would also require 31 teams to pass on him via the waivers. So there's a chance somebody takes a flyer on him, It is what it is. Was Dorian Thompson-Robinson got back in the trade because they felt they had a depth issue? No. He was just give a QB, get a QB, and get a pick. Why not take it?
Yeah. Agreed. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking too much, kind of pretty much straightforward from the QB room for the Philadelphia Eagles. So I don't think there's much really, conversation. We're talking, like you said, and we kind of started the show looking for a needle in a haystack, talking about QB3. But when you're this stacked and you're this loaded at your roster, this is where you're at. And Running back next week should be a little bit more interesting, I think, because there's some names there that are familiar to people. We got some homegrown kind of talent. And the way to win and repeat will probably, you would think, would be the same recipe. But I don't know. I don't know if they're going to run Barkley like that again the way they did. That sounds and feels like the recipe. Is the league caught up? Will the league change? So we'll kind of.
The biggest question is what happens if Saquon's not available for a game.
Yeah, right. And that
Who's
RB2
there?
will be, yeah.
Who's there?
Prefix it for next week. Would you say RB2 is the biggest?
I think RB2 is not a question. I think RB2 was Gainwell's role last year, and I think that role is taken over by Will Shipley without any issue. That is a relief back for Saquon.
Oh, I don't give up too much now.
Well, I'm just saying that's a relief back for Saquon, but I think that the RB3 is the biggest player in question. And I think that people should look up Dylan's guaranteed money versus just his name. And I think when they look at the fact that Dylan actually has an uphill battle to make the team, the position will be looked at as a whole a little differently.
Yeah, it'll be interesting next week to kind of really deep dive a little bit into the RB room and kind of get a feel of who's going to make that 53 and how important is RB2 to this team. So we will see you guys next week. I'm the player that called me most money. That's the GM. That's Ernie B. The RB room is next week. We see you guys later. Happy 4th of July, everybody.